Just because I'm putting another statue in front of the camera doesn't mean I went and blew my wad, at least not on a statue. To make sure I deliver daily content to you guys, sometimes I look at older pieces in my collection that I've never reviewed. Not only is that what today's about, but you're going to see it a lot more this next week. Hey guys, welcome to the Extreme Collection. As I may have said in a recent video, I'm traveling, so I filmed a bunch of stuff ahead of time to make sure you still have that daily content. Wait, Mr. X, your statue collection is left unguarded? No, Mrs. X, who is freakishly strong, has lots of guns and likes to shoot people, is still there, along with cameras, alarm systems, and while I don't have any dogs, my kids like to bite people. Today we're looking at a piece I've had in the collection for a couple years. This is by Prime One Studios, that's the creator of it, Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. And this Rocksteady is actually from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. It's a mouthful, that's why we say TMNT for short, or as I call them, Turts, from the latest Turt movie in 2016. However, I knew Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up. I would love to play the intro for you guys, but every time I do, I get a copyright claim. And you may have seen him recently in my room tour that I just launched today, that I got a copyright claim after I launched it for 9 seconds of electronic music. So whoever manually claimed that to steal money from my ads, good for you. But before we dive into this review today, we're doing a giveaway. We are going to hit 20,000 subscribers in 2020. To do that, we're giving away a statue every 2,500 subs. At 15,000 subs, the winner will get to choose between these two PCS Mortal Kombat statues. Make sure that you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Then stay tuned towards the end of this video to find out how to enter. So let's dive in and look at Rocksteady. Rocksteady is an enemy of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he is just like the Turts. He actually has been mutated from a rhinoceros into a humanoid rhinoceros that has a lot of the strengths and attributes of a rhinoceros, but especially in the movie, he's dumb as a box of rocks. And actually the difference between the movie and the cartoon, I believe, I may be wrong, is that in the movies, he actually mutated from a human being into a rhinoceros. And now that I think about it, I don't know how Rocksteady and his counterpart Bebop, quick spoiler, you may see a review on him in the next few days, actually turned. But I do know it was in a similar format to the way the Turts came to be. What I really like about this piece, even though I wasn't a huge fan of the movies compared to the 1990s movies, another spoiler, you may see those statues being reviewed very soon, is I think they still captured the character, both the movie and somewhat of the comic version, despite the fact he's based off of the movie. And I think this is an incredibly underrated statue, especially when you consider it, to my knowledge, this is the only Rocksteady statue out there in the 1/4 scale size. Meaning that in real life, he is 4 times bigger than this. But let's dive in, and as always, we're going to use the extreme scale. We're going to hit the usual categories, starting with the concept of this piece. Now, because it is a movie piece, we want to say, is it accurate to the movie? Did they display anything from the movie? Does it make sense? So at the base, they did just a normal street base, and the reason why they did this is they actually released a line of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well that had this same street base, so this could all be set up as one massive diorama. I actually owned some of them at the time, but they were part of a giveaway we did. So he's on a street base, so that can tell any type of story, so I think that's a smart way to do it, especially with the Turtles. You think of New York, you think of sewers, and he is in his outfit that he originally transformed in the movie. He's got these army fatigue boots that somehow he still managed to fit into even though he grew larger. And as you move up his pants, these camouflage pants that somehow grew with him, which doesn't really follow the storyline. He has a mixed media chain, the only thing that's not sculpted on here. And he did grow out of his leather jacket. What I like about this is the jacket is small on him, but his belly and his chest is huge. He looks much bigger than what you would think for a normal human. We'll get the dimensions during the design part of this video. And he is decked out with the traditional biker garb. He's got some brass knuckles, he's got a biker jacket, he's got some chains. I guess those are also mixed media as well. And then he has a weapon of choice. He's got a bat with nails and barbed wire wrapped all around it. And as you move up to the top, he's got this weird expression. I'm not sure why they went with this. It kind of looks like half of it looks goofy, half of it looks fierce, so that's maybe why they went with it. But he still has his biker hat on and goggles, which makes him even more comical. Because I said these were kind of big, dumb characters. Kind of the comic relief that wasn't needed in the movie, because the Turts themselves were kind of the comic relief. And he's pointing at you saying, I'm coming after you. That's why this is meant to be set up as a diorama. I think this looks very accurate from what I remember of the movie. I watched it a few times with my kids, and I thought they were decent, just not as good as the original 90 movies. But I don't think they maximize the character's potential. But I love how they stayed true to the movie. I love how you can tell he definitely transformed from a human like he did in the movie. He's got a weapon. He's ready to fight. It's a museum pose, meaning he's not in the middle of an action, but you can tell he's about to be in the middle of an action by the fight he's about to get into. And he looks comical and badass at the same time. So I think that was smart. The base itself, because they wanted to stay the same on the entire line, I think it was smart to go with the street. I think the concept's actually pretty good. It's a 4 out of 5 on this piece. Going dynamic would have made it too big, and sometimes you just don't want it too big. So they incorporated everything correctly. All right, so dimensions on this guy. The base itself, the depth is about 13¼ inches. He may be a little bit deeper because his finger points out. The widest point on the base is about 12 inches, and the total height on him, probably at his ear, is right at 21½ inches or so. So I like the size. He doesn't take up too much room, especially, like I said, if you're going to display him with that entire diorama. As far as assembly, I'm pretty sure the bat's a separate piece. You have Rocksteady and the base. That's it. Nothing elaborate. Now, I actually did buy this in a pair. You can buy these separately or you can buy them together. And when you buy them together, you actually get a shredder helmet. So stay tuned on the Bebop review. I will show that. So with design, simple. It wasn't complicated. You know, they added this little part of the street broken to probably make it not as boring. I like the fact that there's no seam lines. I like the fact the footprint isn't huge, but it's nothing amazing. The mixed media on this is a little bit of a nice touch. I think it's very good. It's 3 out of 5. It's nothing that blows my socks off. It's nothing that looks like, wow, they did an amazing job, but it wasn't bad by any means. Paint and Sculpt, as I said in a recent video probably, or maybe I haven't, I don't know when they're launching. We're doing it by video just for this week while I'm traveling, so let's zoom in and take some close-ups of this guy. I already recorded the entire video, and one of the things I failed to mention is there is an edition size of 500 on this, so kind of a heads up. But let's start at the base here. Most creators nowadays, when they make a base that's the street level, the outside they make the under layer, like so kind of the mud and rock, and I think they did a great job here. It almost has like some lava type feel to it with the colors they added. The hues of red and brown and gray and black that are mixed together. And I like the striations and texture. But even better, I like the base on top. This gravel looks fantastic. The cracks in the street, the little pebbles that are there. This post-tension cable or whatever it is doesn't look the best. I think that's a little bit of a miss, but it's not where your attention immediately goes to, especially when looking at the base. They did a nice job. The paint on his shoes sucks as far as the splatter that's supposed to be some of the concrete or street. I think that is one of the only misses on paint on this statue. They would have been better off leaving it blank, but the black fatigue boots look great. The sculpt could have been a little bit better on the green right here, behind the laces. His boots are probably the weakest part of Rocksteady himself, but moving up, his pants look fantastic. Not only the design and the texture in them, but the stitching, the folds, how baggy they are. And then that's equally impressive as the paint. What's cool is not only all the different colors you have, how they're mixed together, but how it's faded. As they would be, because he probably doesn't change his pants much. So really great job on this. The belt as well. Right here, his belt looks great, looks real. It's fully sculpted. Got a little skull on the belt buckle. His underwear looks all right. Let's look at his ass crack. I love that they did this. This is kind of the comical aspect to it with his little rhino tail sticking out. And then we start to look at his skin. There's a good mixture of his skin between human and rhino, and it's these mix of colors of gray and green depending on the light that you have on it, with tons of brown and yellow and black shadowing, which makes it look very smart. And even when you look at his arms, you see kind of that tough rhino cracked hard skin. So they did a great job with that, but you still see a little bit of anatomy that's humanoid, like a bicep right there. Very, very smart. He's got that big tattoo that's been stretched out, like those fat people you see at the pool or mainly the amusement park. You know what I'm talking about. And then you move up, Again, more kind of divots in his skin. The texture is great. I think they did a good job of the melding of two together. And then here's some more tats he has. Looks good. His hands look okay, not as good as the rest of his body. The nails, these are very Shrek-like with rings on. Some cool Easter eggs, your face, punch your face. Mixed media chain up top. Let's look at his jacket. His jacket is also done very well. It's kind of this alligator skin type leather. You can see that, the design in it, the texture, even the zipper trim down at the bottom, this silverish zipper aspect. I've never worn a biker jacket before. And then all the designs, because he just looked goofy as a human, and now he looks goofy as a rhino. You even see on here some spikes on the front. A lot of detail in this. His bat looks great as well. So the bat itself looks like real wood, just like the post-tension cable in the bottom down here. Not a huge fan of this junk of nails and barbed wire, whatever it's supposed to be. It's okay though. His helmet on top, I love, again, like I said, it adds to that comical aspect of him, but it's got some decent texture, these cool straps in it. And then let's look at his portrait. You know, depending how you look at it, it looks a little different, but it's a great job on a rhino. His horns look good, his little ears sticking out. A lot of expression and curvature in the face there. I like that. His eyes look decent. Even some moist effect. So here's kind of the portrait from here, and then when we look straight on, a little more goofy, because he has that, his lip curled, but he also looks like a badass too. I mean, I wouldn't mess with the rhino that's, you know, 6 feet tall. So he actually, the thing about this when you look at the portraits too, he displays well from any direction. Even his back, because you can see that crack in that little tail. Horn looks great. I like that a lot, actually. So they did a really nice job on this, surprisingly, both on the paint and sculpt. Few small areas of opportunity, but they're not parts of the statue that actually like steal the show. Now initially I would say it's surprising how well done both the paint and sculpt is, but it's Prime 1 Studios. They do an excellent job. It's rare I get a piece from them that I'm scratching my head. Starting with the paint, I like what they did. Like I talked about his skin, even though it has kind of that green hint to it, I think the base looks phenomenal. His pants are awesome. The fatigues. The skin, I honestly think the paint's a 4 out of 5. They did a really, really nice job. I'm almost tempted to go 5 out of 5 if it was more elaborate. The sculpt, the same thing too. I think they did a good job intermixing that rhino and human body, the skin texture, the texture on the base. His pants look fantastic. The sculpt, I actually have to go 5 out of 5, which really surprises me. I didn't think I would when I set this piece on the table, but the sculpt is done really, really well, especially when you consider it's in reference to a movie character that was CGI. So value on this piece, he retailed at $600. I don't know if they're still available at Prime 1 Studios. During their winter and summer sale recently, he has been discounted, or the pair with him and Bebop. And when you bought them together, you got a discount. I think it was like 10 or 20%. But even with their summer sale, you get an additional discount. So I think the value is fantastic for a large 1/4 scale figure. And you tie in the fact that there's not a lot of Rocksteady statues. But the funny thing is there are so many different turtle statues out there. I know of at least 4 license lines of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And right now there's a bunch of customs that are going in there as well. So I understand he's not as popular of the character, but to me, if you have a turtle setup, you want a Rocksteady. So I think the value is a 4 out of 5 as well. I just think it hurts the value that he doesn't have good resale because not a lot of other people want him. Does he have the X Factor? Kind of a stupid question, but he's not a 5 out of 5 statue, but he's a very good statue. I think the biggest downfall he has is he's a character a lot of people don't want. The pointing thing, I don't like statues pointing too often. I don't really talk about that, but I think it works well for him. And it would have been boring if his hand was down at his side. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 statue, which really surprises me. I haven't taken a close look at Bebop, so I'm really interested to see what happens in that review. But 4 out of 5 statue, well done by Prime 1 Studios. Let me know if you agree with my opinion or you disagree. Put that in the comments below, because anytime you comment, it gives you an extra chance to win that statue giveaway. To win one of these Mortal Kombat statues, all you have to do is comment on a video. At 15,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick a random video and pick a random comment. That person will win the prize. They can choose between these two pieces. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for an older character. I don't know if there's a lot of videos on him or not. I don't like to watch other content first. But if you want to see more content, hit that Mr. X logo, the subscribe and bell notification, or check out some of these other Prime 1 Studios playlists. And again, I don't know if it's on this side or this side. But until tomorrow, take care of your mom.